And welcome to this month's Medical Monday. And before we get started, I need to make a couple of announcements, please. When we mail out the information each month or post it to Facebook, I'm going to need a little assistance from you. Even if you are a regular, if you can just leave a message at the 983-3046 extension 4676 and let me know, because I have to get a better count on food. And since Reid doesn't do the catering anymore, I have an outside catering group that we use, and that way, and that order has to go in on Fridays. So I want to make sure that we have enough food for everyone. So please, if you could just send your RSVPs and just leave me a message, that way we'll have the correct amount of orders. And it's on the flyer. It's on the flyer. You don't have to talk to me, just say, I plan to be there, so that way we can get a better idea on the food. So also, I'm not sure if we lost another member from our Medical Monday group, Miss Addie Malone. She was one of our original people that started coming, and so we have a card for her family, as well as then we're going to raffle off some flowers in her memory. And then also we want to thank Dr. Johnson in the back for coming and taking blood pressure, so thank you for being here. And without further ado, we have some members of our behavioral health team who will be discussing loneliness and social connection.
Thanks. I don't think we're going to need a mic. Sorry. I don't think we're going to need a mic. We all talk very loud, but if you want us to turn on the mic, we will. You just let us know, okay? Yeah? Okay. We'll talk with the mic.
All right. Thank you all for coming today. So we are from Reid Outpatient Behavioral Health, and we are here, like Sherry said, to talk to you about loneliness and social connection. But I wanted to start off with some introductions. And so we will start off with Miss April Coffin.
Okay. All right, thank you. So I'm April. I'm the Director of Inpatient and Outpatient Behavioral Health at Reid. I have been doing this since 2005. I graduated from Purdue, moved to California, got my master's degree at Sac State, and then have worked as a therapist for a long time. I still have a few patients. I love them. I can't stop being a therapist. So that is what my heart guides me. However, I'm really a big advocate of mental health, and I love doing presentations, and I love talking about mental health and awareness and bringing awareness to the community. So I'm very excited to talk about this to you guys today.
Alrighty, so my name is Barbie. That is not my actual name. I get that a lot. my actual name is a lot more difficult than that to say, so we go with Barbie. And so I am the clinical manager for Reid Outpatient Behavioral Health, but I am also a therapist as well. So April and I are both clinical social workers, and we do practice psychotherapy. I have a huge love for mental health, a huge passion for it, and love doing community engagement pieces to get that education out there, to talk things through, get the community more involved, especially surrounding issues of mental health.
All right, so this is my first year doing MSW. Basically, I'm in my undergrad kind of situation with it. I just started interning under these two lovely ladies. I will be licensed after I graduate, and I have experience. I used to work for Centerstone, and we also have a support group, me and another intern. We have a support group for anxiety, and we're starting a grief support group as well.
We're excited about the grief support group. So.
Alrighty.
And so we have a nice little video for you guys to watch about staying connected and socializing and just staying away from isolation.
Loneliness and social isolation are associated with higher rates of depression, heart disease, and more. The good news is that you can help prevent and reduce the impact of social isolation and loneliness. However, it's important to know if you're at risk. Try to stay active and better connected if you live alone or can't leave your home. Feel alone or disconnected from others. Recently had a major loss or change. Are a caregiver. Or lack a sense of purpose. Here are some ideas for staying connected. Find an activity that you enjoy or learn something new. You might have fun and meet people with similar interests. Get moving. Exercise decreases stress, boosts your mood, and can increase your energy. Volunteer. You'll feel better by helping others. Stay in touch with family, friends, and neighbors in person, online, or by phone. And consider adopting a pet. Animals can be a source of comfort and may also lower stress and blood pressure. For more information about preventing loneliness and social isolation, visit www.nia.nih.gov.
All right, so we're really excited about this topic. Why do you think loneliness and social connectedness is so important?
Because they have wonderful creatures.
Absolutely. I think COVID changed so much for our society. It took us, we were social creatures, very interactive. How many times could you work from home? Like, that opportunity never existed. Now everything is virtual, tons of people work from home. We have all this electronic data that, or media, social media platforms. We have all these things that just continue to pull us apart. So social awareness and social connectedness is so important. We're gonna share with you guys how isolation can impact not only our mental health, but our physical health, and why it's so important to stay connected with one another. All right, but let's get started with some vocabulary words. They're always boring, right? So what's the difference between loneliness and social isolation? What do you guys think the difference is? I know the definition's up there, but we like volunteers.
You can be lonely in a crowd.
Thank you. That's exactly it. We can have all the people around us that we want, but we could still go lonely. What about social isolation? Do me, yes, say that.
And in Spain.
What is social isolation?
Is that where you don't go out?
Maybe you don't have the resources, maybe you don't have availability to things, maybe you don't belong to any groups, maybe, right? It could be a bunch of different things. So loneliness is subjective, right? We could be in a room full of people and you could still feel lonely. It is feeling like you have an inadequate, meaningful connection with others, and you have an unmet need between an individual's preferred and actual experience. Whereas social isolation is objectively having few social relationships, social roles, group memberships, lacking that interaction with other people. So solitude, I should preface, the reason I'm giving you these definitions is because you might hear us talk about him throughout our presentation. So solitude, it's a state of aloneness by choice that does not involve feeling lonely. How many introverts do we have in this room? People that like to stay at home, right? You probably did not know this, but I'm an extrovert. I gain my feelings of connectedness, and I have more energy when I'm around people. When I'm home by myself, I hate it. I hate it. But we have so many people that like to be alone, and that's okay. You can be alone and still not feel lonely. Okay, so social connectedness, again, it's the degree to which any individual or population might fall along the continuum, and I think Barbie will talk about that continuum later on in the presentation, of just achieving that social connection needs. And then belonging. We all, even for the introverts in this room, we all have that sense of that need to belong to somebody or something. I always forget the name of the movie where Tom Hanks gets stranded on the island with the volleyball.
Oh.
Castaway.
Yes,
I don't know
there
why
you
I
go.
cannot remember. I love that movie. He makes a relationship with a volleyball because it is impossible to go throughout life. Impossible to not have one relationship. You are very, very lonely, and most people, it's very hard. It's impossible, as I mentioned. So we all have this sense of belonging. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Barbie talk about social connection and why it matters.
Do you want to take over the? So much power when you have the clicker. So let's talk about what social connection is. So social connection are the interactions, the relationships, the roles, and the sense of connection individuals, communities, or society may experience. And so there are factors that go into our social connection. And, you know, we often think about it as like the number of social connections that we have, but it's more than just that. And so we have to look at the structure of our social connection, like the number and variety of relationships and like how often we interact. And so like, are you a friend? You know, do you have family relationships? Do you have coworkers? Or, you know, like, do you have people that you volunteer with? And so the more roles that people have, the more fulfilled they'll be, the more connections they have, the more fulfilled they will be. Function, so the degree to which relationships serve various needs. And so on a selfish note, we like relationships that meet our own needs. And that's okay, like, because we need something from those relationships. And the amount of needs that are met is important. And the quality of those relationships. Quality is important too. We want to have positive experiences with people. We want to have positive relationships. People that we could talk to about different things, you know, people that we could connect with when we're having a difficult time, or if we just want to have fun. Oh.
Oh my God, back.
I was like, that's the wrong way. So April mentioned that social connection is a continuum, and it is. And so, because people often look at it as dichotomous, you're either always lonely or you're always socially connected. And that's not the case. Like, people fall into a gradient of where they stand. So, you know, you may be more socially connected or you may be more socially isolated. And so, or socially disconnected. And so people fall at different points of the spectrum, and you have to find what fits right for you. And then social connection is also dynamic. And so it is fluid and always changing. There are going to be times where you are more socially connected, and there are going to be times where you don't feel as connected. And that just depends on what you have going on in your life. So things that may come up is like, things change in the community. Maybe transportation isn't as readily available anymore. And so you can't get out as often. Or you start a new volunteer project, and so now you're more connected than you were before. And so depending on what you have going on in your life, changes the dynamics of what your social connection looks like.
All right, so some facts about loneliness and social connection. Only 39% of adults in the US said that they feel very connected to others.
That's very low.
Yes.
That's so
Yeah.
low.
Recent surveys have found that approximately half of the US adults report experiencing loneliness, and some of the highest rates are among young adults, actually. Polls conducted in 1972 show that roughly 45% of Americans felt that they could reliably trust other Americans. However, that proportion shrank to 30% in 2016. And while the highest rate of social isolation is among other older adults, young adults are twice as likely to feel more alone than those over 65.
And so just to kind of bring some perspective into that, so like if you're sitting at a table with 5 people, only 2 of those 5 people are going to feel that they are socially connected or that they have the types of connections that they need. And like when you think about it, so you put 2 of those 5-person tables together, and only 3 people are going to feel like they can trust other Americans. And so that's not a huge number. And so like if you think about the fact that like, okay, like you add April to this table right here, and only 2 people at this table are going to feel like they have the connections that they need. So just trying to bring some perspective to that.
So there's national trends up here on the board. Social isolation, an increase of 24 hours per month. So that actually increased from 2003 to 2020. Social engagement decreased from 2003 to 2020. Companionship dramatically decreased 14 hours per month after 2020. Social engagement with friends decreased after 2020 as well. I mean, it seems like COVID really did impact a lot of people, and things dramatically decreased and made people feel more socially isolated, and the engagement was down. So a lot of people feel more isolated.
And these are some big numbers. I'm sorry, April.
They are.
Like, because if you look at them,
A decrease of 14 hours per month is actually really huge.
Yeah. So like, because if you break that down into like time spent with a companion. So say like you have somebody that like you feel companionship with, and say y'all spend like 2 hours together every time that y'all are together. So that's like seven interactions less that you see each other.
And social engagement with friends, a decrease of 20 hours per month. So you're spending less time with your friends, and even probably your family too. You're just isolating without even noticing it.
Yeah.
So I know we blame COVID for a lot of this, but what are some other reasons? Why do you think we have a dramatic decrease in, look at that, cell phones?
Yes.
All the technology that says it's connecting us is not connecting.
Yeah.
You're right.
So there's pros and cons to all of this, right? Because as healthcare professionals, I like some AI. However, artificial intelligence, right? I do. I like it a lot. It's very helpful. It makes my job a little easier. However, what does that do to the patients? Yeah.
Well, I was at a table of 8 last week, and I came with 3 people, and there were 2 men and 3 other women. So I'm sitting on the end of our group. I introduced a woman to our group, and she went back to her cell phone. Our group was younger than I was. They were on their cell phones. And I asked the girl next to me, I said, did you introduce yourself to that next girl that sat down? Nope, she didn't. And there was the wild man across from me.
No one.
I said, lived there across the table. But anyway, you know, all of those people, or 6 of those people, were so engaged with their phones and not meeting the others. And before, you know, like going to conferences and stuff, you met new people and you would introduce the people to the other ones. I mean, it's just, I don't understand.
I don't either. I think as a mom of 2 kids, had this rule prior to COVID, no phones, no electronics. And now restaurants have gotten smart. Now they create this like device that sits on your table that has these games flashing in front of your children. So as a parent, it's even hard, but it's sad when you look around and everybody, but it's almost like you have to stay up with the times or else you fall behind. It's a hard adjustment.
I started pulling mine out this way.
Follow the trend.
Right.
Go ahead.
It's like they want you to sign up for everything online. You go in and scan on their foot. Even if you go to Best Buy, I've got to go home and make an appointment. This is
Right.
That's a great point. I didn't even think about that. But how many, it's hard to even get to a live person these days. Everything's virtual. Right? When I applied for school, for jobs in high school, we had to go in and get a paper form, fill out the paper form, meet with the manager. Now it's all, I have a 15-year-old and it's shocking.
I also think the lack of transportation for a lot of older people. And in Richmond, in a lot of American cities, it's getting worse instead of better.
Yeah.
And like in Holland, they started a program years ago of college and university students, instead of living in the dormitories on the campus, they are moving in with older people. And they form relationships and they learn so much from the senior person and vice versa.
Oh, I love
And,
that.
So they are trying to solve that problem. But I don't know. Maybe you know what's going on in this country to make it better instead of worse.
That's a loaded question.
Yeah.
We will be here. We would keep you 24 hours. No, but all of these are very good points, and that's what we're going to talk about, right?
Yeah.
So, lack of transportation is a huge issue. But as you can tell, we do have a shift. It is getting in this nation. It is getting harder and harder for people to live alone financially. It is. We're gonna have to start coming together. We have to make a change, and that's why we're here. And we're so excited to talk about this topic. So thank you. Something has to give. Yeah. So factors that contribute to the risk of loneliness and social isolation. We just mentioned most of them, right? But like lack of transportation. That makes it very difficult to go to church, to go to your clubs. Or what if you're a mother and you have multiple kids that are in sports and you want to get your kiddo to this club or this meeting? It's really hard to do that. So loss of mobility. Sometimes you just can't physically get somewhere, right? Or sometimes you are in pain and you can't get somewhere. Vision or hearing problems. Oh, go ahead.
Now, as far as church,
Yes. There's pros and cons.
most churches have some form of transportation. You just call and ask, and they will pick you up gladly. Talk to a friend, they will come and pick you up and take them with you. Here you go.
And I appreciate this so much because we're big advocates of coming up with suggestions and strategies and not just focusing on what you can't do, right? Because didn't get you anywhere. It's what can we do? And that's how you prevent social isolation. Lean on a friend, call a church member, call someone you know that can help you. So thank you.
And if you know that there are people who are struggling, be that person who reaches out to say like, hey, I noticed you haven't been in church the last couple of weekends. Like, are you able to get there? Do you need me to come pick you up? Like, being that person to like initiate connection, because especially if you have somebody who's socially anxious, which I think gets into the phone topic again, but if you have somebody who's socially anxious, they may not feel comfortable reaching out, or they may feel like a burden on someone.
Thank you. So these may be factors, but we as a community have to try to figure out strategies to combat these factors, right? We're not going to use these as excuses. These are just what makes it difficult, right? So lack of transportation, physical health, maybe language barriers, feeling a lack of purpose, maybe being introverted and not wanting to reach out, right? These are just factors. Lack of social support, maybe caring for a loved one who's unwell, maybe you're feeling overwhelmed and just defeated and it's hard to get out of bed. So there's multiple reasons that contribute to social isolation. It's not just one reason, right? So we just have to look at this as a community. We can't work in silos anymore. I think, are you next? Oh,
Misty.
Oh, yes.
I think that we have 24-hour news, and it's so depressing. It makes people think kind of afraid of their neighbors, and it's really depressing, the news. And they try to get you excited to keep you watching, and you begin to think, oh, the world's terrible, everybody's bad, and they're not, you know.
Well, and we always talk about this, but like the algorithms on your social media platforms are what you look at. So if you look up one piece, you're going to keep getting the negativity blasted in your face, right? So those that have Facebook or even, there's probably other social programs or platforms. I am not
Like
aware.
TikTok, Twitter.
I refuse to have those.
If you get on Facebook and you start looking at the reels
And
or
they'll
Instagram.
They'll populate all of the different like horrific things and give you specific stories related to that tragedy, and it's very defeating.
Yeah. And that actually affects more people than I think people realize, because like I will often have patients come in and just say like everything is just like falling apart in the world, and I'm like, that's just the news that we see, you know, because like that's what sells, right? That's what draws people in, is like knowing what's going on.
I think the off button needs to be used a whole lot more often.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes.
You just set aside a half hour that we'll watch news, and after that,
Right.
And I was gonna say, I do talk to some patients about just watching certain programs, like, you know, just watch the weather, like just watch like the informational parts of the news, where they're like telling you about stuff in the community, but don't watch the sensationalized things.
Well,
you
the
know.
weather, like,
Right. That's a topic in its own, Barbie.
flooding and
Yeah.
One of the things was 27 cities around the world that are sinking.
Oh.
New York was among them. I mean, you know, it was just like, no.
No. And then your algorithm is going to keep bringing you back to that. Oh man. So yes.
So we know social connection can determine our health outcomes.
Can you speak a little bit louder?
Yeah.
Push it closer.
Yeah. So social, being socialized and having socialization can make us feel healthier. I mean, we feel healthier when we talk to a friend, typically, as long as it's one we can trust, which we already run over that. Like, you know, Americans don't feel like they can trust each other. If you have a lack of social connection, you're going to be a little more unhealthy, physically and mentally. When you don't get out, typically you feel more depressed, and then you feel a little more unhealthy, even like physically. I know that like if someone gets stressed, you know, your stomach will start hurting, you'll feel a little bit more overwhelmed, you'll start sweating, things like that. So social connection kind of helps combat that, as long as you can trust the other person you're socializing with. It leads to more positive outcomes also. So if you go to like church or a group and you're more engaged, you feel better, you do more, and you can also meet people to help combat that transportation issue. You know, there's people out there that can help you and willing to help you. So it's good to have social connection and being engaged with the community. And then, of course, more positive outcomes on the community. So the more social we are, I know it's not included on this slide, I did some research. If we're more connected in our community and like have resources, we spend more, and the economy benefits from that too. So it seems to be really connected. So if you're isolated, you don't spend money.
How many of you guys spend more money at the store when you go with a friend? Or my daughter got me to go to TJ Maxx this weekend. I spent way too much money. I blamed it on her, not me.
Right. Okay.
Oh, I think.
It doesn't matter. Do you want to talk about it? I don't know.
It doesn't matter. Here.
All right. So over 4 decades, research has produced a lot of information about what social isolation does to us, or even being sociable does. So again, like we said, like if you're more sociable, you tend to be a little healthier, and you tend to have more connections and more resources. It makes you feel a little bit better about things. If you are isolated, it's been proven that like you'll die earlier. So you'll have a shortened lifespan. Well, I mean, that's kind of what the study, unfortunately, that's what it says. So.
I want to share, there's a word called resiliency. Do you know what resiliency is?
Yes, it is, because I am very by myself, and I prefer people in the crowd follow me because I like to be by myself.
So resiliency plays a factor.
Yeah.
Before people in my face gets on the nerves.
Right.
Well, and that's why I asked who was our introverts in the crowd, right? Because some people cry being So again, those definitions, it goes back to loneliness and social isolation. Just because someone is alone doesn't mean that they're alone.
Because a lot of the art association idol, and I prefer to draw, and these people take the time away from me.
Right.
So I'm an extrovert. I love being around people. But sometimes I'm emotionally drained after being around a lot of people, right? Like, I care.
Yes.
I care a lot. But sometimes I have to go home and I need to take a hot bath or I need to do something for me because it is exhausting. So respectfully, absolutely, it's not necessarily like that, right? So it just, research shows that when people feel an increase of loneliness, an increase in stress, it could have an impact on our life expectancy.
Yeah, and so that's why they say you have a higher risk. Yeah.
Because you have a higher risk for heart disease and a higher risk for premature death if you are isolated. But there's a difference between isolation and loneliness, and because some people literally they just can't function around other people, and that's okay.
Right. And so, and just to kind of bring back those definitions in, because remember, loneliness, if you feel lonely, that is distressing, which is going to cause you to have stress, which is going to have a negative impact on your physical health.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's so important to differentiate those.
Yeah, and so lack of social connection can increase your chance for dementia. It can increase your anxiety and depression. Social disconnection is shown to maybe cause diabetes. And then lack of social connection can increase your weakness to viruses, like the flu or something to that extent.
Are we going to talk about the emotional pain? How emotional pain can cause us to have physical symptoms of inflammation?
Yeah. I was also
Oh, no, that's okay. I didn't know if you
about
wanted
that.
to talk about health. So just to kind of piggyback on that, right? People can see when we have physical health challenges, right? If our leg hurts and we're limping, or if sometimes even when our head hurts, you can see it in our eyes. It's a lot harder to see the emotional pain, and it's harder to see the loneliness, right? But emotional pain, if you have distress from loneliness and it's causing emotional pain, long-term emotional pain causes the same symptoms. It causes inflammation in our body. Inflammation in our body causes the arthritis, causes the heart conditions, causes failure of our organs. So there's lots of research that shows emotional pain can cause just as much damage. And I think one of the slides talks about smoking too.
Yeah. All right, so this is actually the slide that April was just referring to. And so if you look at this, so a lack of social connection is, how do I want to word this, is more dangerous than smoking 15 cigarettes a day. And we know what doctors say about smoking. They're like, you need to stop smoking, it's affecting your health. Well, guess what? Loneliness and isolation are more dangerous for you and your physical health than smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It's also more dangerous than drinking 6 alcoholic drinks a day. So, it's also more dangerous on your physical health than physical inactivity. It's more dangerous on your physical health than obesity, and it's more dangerous on your health than air pollution. And so you see it on this slide. So here's air pollution here, obesity, physical inactivity, drinking 6 alcoholic drinks a day, smoking 15 cigarettes, and then lacking social connection. It has a huge, huge impact on our physical health. All right, so how does social connection influence our health? So whenever we are socially connected, there are 3 things going on. So 1, you have your biological processes going on. We talked about, I think, oh, shoot.
We just realized we have 5 more minutes, sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that. So Oxytocin is the chemical that our body releases whenever we feel connected and we feel loved and we feel like we're a part of something. And oxytocin is a pain reliever. It's it's that chemical that makes you feel happy. It's like the chemical that gets released like whenever you get a hug or you're kissed or you're laughing with a friend. And there was actually a study recently that showed that that increase in oxytocin could also repair heart injury. There's a psychology going on, like April was just talking about. So we have meaning and purpose. We feel less stressed. We're more resilient. And then it also impacts our behaviors, how we interact with people, which then can impact our health. So we look at those 3 categories.
Okay, so there's benefits of having more connected communities. It improves the overall health and disaster outcomes. So in Texas right now, they are going through and they're doing the rescues and they're going through the waters and trying to find all these victims. And they're having a really good response. So having good social connection will also help that. It decreases your community violence. So if you have the proper resources and the proper social connection, it's shown to be a little less violent overall. And then you increase your economic prosperity. So being socially connected really does increase the economic prosperity. It really does impact the financials of this whole thing. So some potential negative is politics and religion. So that's actually a topic that a lot of people try to avoid because it is a negative impact on some people. The need for belonging is so strong that people seek it out in unhealthy ways sometimes too. So we've seen this on social media. People attack each other just because basically they could be attention seeking, just wanting that social connection, but not knowing how to really get it properly. So there's that.
I was supposed to say gangs, sorry. So some of our youth, right, they will join a gang to feel connected.
Right.
They want to feel the sense of belonging. They didn't get it in their childhood or in their home. So they'll reach out. So the more we can come together as a community, provide opportunities to connect, like 4-H, Boys and Girls Club, churches. There's so many different opportunities, and Richmond is blessed. We have a lot of different things that other communities don't. Do we still have ways to go? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But there are so many communities that they don't have the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
They don't have 4-H clubs. They don't have all of these resources. And so again, we're looking at ways to continue to grow our community involvement. Okay, so how can we increase social connectedness? What are ways, I'll try to be quick. What are ways we can increase our social connectedness?
Smile.
Smile! Yeah, because when you walk by someone and they smile at you, you're like, did they smile at me? I like it. What else? And it makes your day.
It does.
Be the first to speak.
There you go. Be the first. Introduce yourself, right? Yes.
Volunteer and
Yes, that's a big one.
That is huge. I love what you mentioned too. I think that's great. Being able to link people together, form those connections. Anything else? Well, there's tons of ways. Did I do something?
No, so.
Okay, there are tons of ways to do this, but it's more than a personal issue. Again, we got to stop working in silos. It's about building us up as a community and working together. So, as we mentioned, community. It's to help promote health changes needed across the scope. Let's see, so increasing individual connection, right? So, take breaks from your phone. Most of the time, that's a younger, adolescent, right? I ask my kids, break time. They look at me like I'm crazy. Sign up for classes. I love to adopt a pet. Although I have 2 dogs that I've adopted, and I think they've increased my anxiety, so I'm not sure about how it's improved my anxiety at all. I love you to death, but they both have behavioral challenges. So, join groups that focus on physical activities. I don't know if we have meetup groups. We had them in Sacramento, and I loved them. I belonged to like a dog walking meetup group.
There is a walking group in Glen Miller. Like, it's on the golf course. I don't remember what days, but there is a walking group. Yeah.
Thursdays. Sherry says Thursdays. Thank
Yeah.
you. And see, that's another thing. When you get together, you guys can talk about what the opportunities are. Because sometimes we just don't know. Just getting the information out there. So join a faith-based organization group. Get your kids, grandkids involved in different things. I always talk about 4-H or Boys and Girls Club have a bunch of activities, and Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts or Cub Scouts. So increasing social connection in our community. So what it does, again, it promotes infrastructure that promotes connection. It invests in organizations that bring people together. This is why we love doing this for Reid Health. We love coming out in the community and promoting mental health. We love promoting social connectedness. It's a great thing. It utilizes technology to create online and phone programs. We also have community partner sponsors, community social activities. So again, I know I work for Reid, so Reid does that, but other organizations do it too.
Yes.
I mean, that's why I feel truly blessed to live in this community, because I feel the love from so many different organizations that come together to serve our community. All right. Anything else?
Nope, that is
Really
it.
fast.
We will open the floor to questions.
Do you guys have any questions? You guys ready to go promote social connectedness?
I saw a thing over the weekend, and they had a person that sells plants did a plant bingo.
Oh, that's
And it was delicious. I know some of your relatives were there, but I thought that was pretty cool. And she had tents set up outside, and then they had a bingo, and then you could win plants. So I thought that was pretty neat.
But then you get to killing them all.
I thought it was neat. I
love it.
I'm with you. I try. Plants are really good for us.
They are. So they like purify our air and make us feel better. But yeah, I will tell you that like being in the field of mental health, like people have so many great ideas for social connection, like so many great ideas. And I think that if we start talking about those things and really focusing on those things, that we can bring all of that to Richmond. And I've really felt it in the last couple of years that there is kind of like this desire to increase that here. And so I would definitely encourage you to participate in those types of activities. I mean, you're here, this is one, you know, and also bring your ideas to people. You know, when you see people that work for organizations, you know, stop them and say like, hey, have y'all ever thought about doing something like this? I love getting feedback like that, because then those are things that I bring to April. We're like, hey, can we realistically make this happen? And so definitely, if you have those ideas, bring those to people. So thank y'all so much. Any other questions?
We really appreciate your participation. You guys had some great ideas. All right, well, thank you. Okay, now we will have a short presentation from Hannah with our Richmond's Farmers Market. She's the coordinator and the community engagement facilitator. There. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Hannah. I am the Richmond Farmers Market coordinator for the Richmond Farmers Market. Can everybody hear me okay before I really get going? Okay, I have a quieter voice. I am an introvert. So I am the opposite of our last speaker here. And I always say it's kind of an interesting career choice for me because I am an introvert. But I spend all of my time every week and all of my Saturdays year-round at the Richmond Farmers Market. And I think that's something important to kind of follow up on what you guys talked about, because you talked a lot about community, you talked about social connection, getting yourself out of isolation. So I'm here to talk to you about my happy place and what is at us, the Richmond Farmers Market. So I'm going to ask you a question,
You're not gonna hurt my feelings if you don't go, but how many of you go to the Richmond Farmers Market? Okay, all right. Well, thank you for coming out. Now, it is also my job to encourage you to get out to the Richmond Farmers Market. So those of you that didn't raise your hand, I'm gonna be kind of watching out for you next something easier. So like I said, I am the coordinator of the Richmond Farmers Market, but I am very lucky to have 3 assistants that also operate, and they are the hardworking souls behind the market as well. We've got Christy, Ashlyn, and Erica that help me out every single week. They also have full-time jobs. We're here because we love to be here, and we love to be a part of our community. So, the Richmond Farmers Market. How many of you knew that we're open year-round? All right. Y'all are surprising me. That's cool. So we are open year-round. We have 2 different locations. So right now we're in our summer season. We are at Jack Gulsher Plaza. You can catch us every Saturday from 9 a.m. to noon. And because we're in our summer season, we also have Tuesday twilight markets, and those are open from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. So that gives you 2 different opportunities to come out and engage with your community. I always say come out and join your community when the farmers market is open. And then in the winter season, we do move locations. So we go out to the Starge and Net building. We do say open on Saturdays 9 to noon. So when we're open on Saturdays, you can count on that 9 a.m. to noon time. So what do we do in the community at the Richmond Farmers Market? We serve as a platform for the vendors that come out to set up. So we have farmers, entrepreneurs, small businesses, people that are your neighbors, they're right here in your community. They are setting up and providing these local treasures to you guys that come out. So when you come out, you're able to socially interact with people that are from your very own community. So that's a very important piece to get you out of that isolation, get you out there. These are people that are going to remember what your favorite foods are. They're going to remember if your kid had a game last week. They say, hey, how did that go? All those little details that you're not going to get from the big box stores, those are strong connections that you're going to form at the Richmond Farmers Market. We also strive really hard to have programs that make accessibility available to everybody. My biggest mission within the Richmond Farmers Market is to increase local food access. So a lot of our current programming really focuses very heavily on that. Some of those programs, I'll talk about 2 in particular today really quickly. They're our Snap Double Log program and our WIC Market Match. But before I get to those, we also do Kids Carrot Cash, and we do a Farm to Pantry project. So our Kids Carrot Cash, if you bring your family out, I give each kid a $2 voucher that they can utilize to get access to fresh fruits and vegetables at the farmer's market. You don't have to buy carrots. I get a lot of kickback from children that don't want to buy rabbit food, but that is a possibility. We want to encourage them to make healthier choices while at the market. Our Farm to Pantry project, that just launched this past Saturday. That is a cause that is very near and dear to my heart. That is where we purchase surplus produce from Richmond Farmers Market farm vendors, and then we in turn take that to local food pantries right here within the community. So it increases that local food access. It gives more nutritious food to the food pantries, and it's just a really good way to give back. And if you didn't know, everybody that's at the Richmond Farmers Market has grown, raised, baked, created everything that they're selling. So when you buy from these individuals, you're buying from the people that created it.
Do you still have, I think it was called the SFMP program, the Senior
Farmers Market Nutritional Program. It's a mouthful. Yeah, so that is actually done through programs like Livestream. It's not a direct program of mine that I run, like Snap Double Dollars and everything, but that is something that you can go sign up for. So seniors are eligible to get those vouchers and then bring them to the market.
Okay, that's what so they can use it at the farmer's market here?
Yes, we do have a handful of vendors that are able to accept those vouchers.
Okay, good.
You had really nice, beautiful, beautiful food. But the question is, for me and a lot of people who don't have cars, there is no bus service in Richmond, Indiana on Saturday. And so food is as well, and we would buy it. But unless you have a car to go get it, you're out here just lost without it.
I completely agree with that. And we did have some partnerships that were worked out with local transits to be able to provide more transportations in certain time increments to get to the markets. Unfortunately, they do have staffing issues that happen. And I don't know that they're operating on Saturdays anymore. So we do try to find as many gaps as we can and fill those gaps to get more people out. I know transportation is a very big part of that. We do try to stay centrally localized within downtown to kind of help. But we are very aware that that is a need that needs to build within the community, so. All right, so I'll talk about our SNAP Double Dollars program and our WIC Market Match just very, very briefly, but these two programs are geared towards helping the community stretch their dollars further and gain more access to that local nutritious food that is offered by our farmers, bakers. At the market, if you have SNAP benefits, did you know that you can go to the market and you can double those benefits? So those can actually be, we have market tokens, and they don't expire. So if you come to the market, you take $40 off of your SNAP EBT cards, then you can get $80 back to spend with Richmond Farmers Market vendors. And we are very proud to say at the Richmond Farmers Market that all vendors that have SNAP eligible products choose to participate in this program. And they do that because, not just because it helps, their profit and all that, but they want to see their community succeed at the same time. And we have a similar program, our WIC Market Bash. So we just started this last year. We have currently 13 participating vendors. This is a program where we do not take away from any benefits of our WIC participants. Instead, we match them. So instead of like our SNAP Double Dollars, you take money off of your card and we double it. This one, we're just matching eligible benefits when you come to the market. So if you're unaware, WIC is Women, Infants, and Children. So that is benefits that goes to those in our community that need it. And we're able to match those benefits for eggs, bread, and produce at the market. And just briefly, I'll chat about the impact. When you go out and you shop at the Richmond Farmers Market, we know that you're getting that social impact. You're getting out of the house, you get to join your community. But here's what's going back into your community a little bit. Our vendor sales last year in 2024 that was reported by our vendors, which we see about an estimated of a 60-70% kind of response rate on our sales list, was $390,000 in 2024. So that's money that's staying right here in your community, that's giving your community economic boost, and that's helping your neighbors support their own families in turn. Our total vendor sales since 2017 that was reported is over 1.3 million. So that's also a pretty large, significant number that stays right here in Wake County. Our SNAP program, that Double Dollars program I touched on really briefly, we have seen over 66,000 SNAP cashed out just last year. So that's 66,000 that the community was able to double up the market, utilize with the vendors right here at Richmond. And then I love this number, 11.2. That is the average number of miles that your food travels to get to the market, to get to you. So instead of being on a truck, traveling across the country, traveling across country lines, using planes, trains, boats, all things, it goes in your vendor's car and makes it to the market. And we're one of the few year-round farmers markets in Indiana, so we love to brag about that. And then just as a snapshot, when you come out to the Richmond Farmers Market, you can expect to find, we have 42 season pass vendors, and we have 25 daily pass vendors currently. So when you come out on Saturdays right now, you're going to see about 40 vendors there. And we do have organizations that set up at the market as well. Does anybody have any questions?
Weren't you wasn't the farmers market voted #2 best farmers market in Indiana?
It was, yeah. A couple of years ago, we were voted #2 in Indiana. We were within the top 5 nationwide. And that voting is actually coming up to the next couple months, so we're really excited to see that. Yeah. It is, thank you.
Well, thank you, Hannah.
Thank you.
And next month, our speaker will be our newest hand surgeon from Reid Ortho. And we'll see you then. Thank you.